Hey, what's up, what's up? You know it's your girl, Angelique Bates, and you know it's the evening showdown every Wednesday. You know how we do. And you never know who's going to be in the special chair. And guess who's in the special chair today? Kel Mitchell!
What's happening, girl?
Hey, what's up?
I'm good. I'm in the special chair.
Yes, that's the special chair.
Can I break the fourth wall and look right into the camera just like that? Just right in there.
Look into the people's soul.
What up?
Man, we come a long way since Blog Talk.
Blog Talk. I think we talked about relationships. It was a whole bunch of stuff on Blog Talk.
And I didn't know that you was at a movie.
I was at a movie. I was on a date with my wife, man, and the movie hadn't started just yet. You know, we was at the ArcLight. That's when you get your dinner first.
Right.
So I walked out and did the interview, came back in. She was cool with it.
You know what? I feel like I haven't even experienced the whole experience of ArcLight. I have not had dinner there.
Oh, you got to do it. You got to do it. Dinner in the movie.
I need to do that.
You know, for the fellas, it's smart. You know what I'm saying? You get your dinner in the movie right there, done. One place, one location, done.
See, I was focused on sneaking the snacks in. I had to have the big purse and the snacks at the bottom, put the kids' toys on top.
Right.
So, man, what you been up to?
Man, loving life, being a dad, working.
I love
you know what I mean?
Wisdom is so cute.
Oh, thank you. Shout out to all my babies. I got three. You know what I mean?
And two of them ain't babies no more.
Nah, not babies no more. Right, man. 19, 17, and 1. I love it, man.
You straight got an adult. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, it's dope. And Wisdom's walking around, talking now. She's really talking now. So it's awesome.
I love it. When I saw her the other day, she was just like, just had her own personality, leg kicked up and everything. I was like, Wisdom. She was looking at me like, what's up?
Oh, yeah. She's a character, man. I love it. I'm a baby.
You're right. Well, I'm glad everyone's doing good. Like I said, you have always been like the perfect example for me as far as a father being there for his kids. And you've, whatever was going on, you've always been there.
Yeah.
And I love that because, you know, especially in society, and then when you have like the entertainment industry, it doesn't really seem like they really promote it. You know, and it's a lot different nowadays. It's kind of just like, do what you do, move around, and keep it pushing. But I think we need more fathers. We need the whole family situation too, because it's not, everybody's just not going to jail and doing drugs and being drug dealers, you know?
Yeah.
Especially in the industry, because they already thought that we were going to be crackheads anyway because we were child stars. So.
Yeah, man. We turned out pretty good.
I think
the Nick cast, you know what I mean? All that cast.
We really did. If you think about it, we really did.
Yeah, we did. You know? Yeah, we made it through.
We pushed on through with the noise.
We pushed through.
And we're still here. So let's take it back to back then. Okay, so how did you even get in the industry? Was it something you always wanted to do?
Man, it was, you know, because I grew up on the south side of Chicago. So, you know, it was gang violence and then it was the church.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was one of the things where I was getting to that age where I had to get into something productive. You know what I'm saying? And my parents tried different things. You know what I mean? We did Kung Fu. And, you know, and the church was there, you know. And so I got into ETA Creative Arts Foundation, which was like a community theater in Chicago. And we used to go there to see plays, and they were doing this summer course for kids, and I just fell in love with with acting. And it wasn't a thing of like, oh, now I'm going to get on TV doing this.
Right.
This was like, this is a hobby. You know what I mean? To stay out of trouble. Yeah. And I just fell in love with it, and I stopped like being a class clown in school because that's where I was really getting off. Like I was getting all my work, like with the bell ring, it was like showtime. It's on. Yeah. So for me, it was great. I mean, I started to work with adults at night, doing like plays from doing the summer course, and then I went to actually doing like real play and having it be like a job. You know what I mean? So that was cool. And just learning from adult actors in theater around that time, and understanding that grind, you know what I'm saying, in the beginning. So it was definitely a big thing for me. Yeah, that was cool.
So, with all that, so did you have an agent, or like how did
Yeah, I had an agent. Yeah, I got an agent after I started doing theater in Chicago.
Okay.
So I went from doing community theater there, and then I started doing theater in downtown Chicago. Okay. Like Victory Gardens Theater and Goodman Theater for all my Chicago listeners. And then I got an agent in a play. I was in a play called, what's the name of that play? Eden.
Really?
It was called Eden. Yeah, and Lawrence Fishburne had played my part years ago when he was my age back then. So it was like big for me to play that part again and pay homage to him. Right. But yeah, did that play and I got noticed by an agent, Aria Talent Agency out there, and they were a Model N talent agency. Right. And they picked me up, man, and you know I started just going on different auditions and things like that.
And then all that came around.
And then all that came around to Chicago. They did a nationwide search. I mean, you know this.
Right.
It's different than talking to a different interviewer that doesn't know. Right. You know what happened.
Right, I was
so
there.
yeah, nationwide search. They got you in LA, right?
Right. Yep.
And, me and Josh in Chicago.
Right.
Kenan in Atlanta. You know everybody. All of them.
Right. No, wait a minute, because you're gonna be able to answer this one because I was just had an interview with somebody and I couldn't remember because remember it wasn't originally all of us. It was like 2 got added. Who were the 2? Do you remember?
Oh, 2 did get added.
Yeah.
I believe it was Lori Beth and Kenan. Because Kenan was last.
Mighty Ducks.
Kenan was all doing Mighty Ducks.
Yes.
And he was like on the LA side. Like when we had, I don't know if you had to do that, but first we went through one round and then they said, okay, we got to do callbacks. And then they flew us to LA.
Oh.
Were you in the LA?
I think I was because I felt like I did it for 2 months because I thought I didn't have the job.
Okay.
So
Right. That's what I'm saying. A lot of time went by and then they called us all in to go to LA and then it was another round.
And I think that was at Universal or like the one of the hotels or something. That Okay, so I was there.
There was some kind of...
It was weird.
I just remember some type of hill and I don't know, a house type of situation.
Yes,
I don't know.
it.
That's why it was so long ago. but yeah, it was a lot of us, man. I know some kids somewhere like, man, I was right there. You know what I mean?
Yes. And what's so crazy about that situation is for that audition, okay, so I got discovered at a talent show.
Okay.
And the person who discovered me was actually the creator of Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh.
Right. Who is crazy. He's actually my manager now because he recommended me to his friend who became my agent who passed away last year. Okay. But the reason why he didn't represent me was because he wasn't doing that. You know, he was doing production and stuff. Yeah. So my agent comes and he sees me. I think I took like second place or whatever. And that week was the auditions for all that, but I had another agent, which was super crazy. That agent didn't send me out at all for that show. Wow. He did. And there was a friend who was with the same agent that went and thought that our agent sent us. So he went back and was like, hey, I saw Angelique. All of a sudden, she started trying to call me out for everything. But obviously, we know I got the show, which meant my other agent, I was now his client. Wow. It was so crazy. So she could have got the money.
That's crazy.
She never sent me out.
She never sent you out. Mm-mm. So she didn't get that.
She didn't get that commission at all.
Get that commission.
I know she probably to this day is like,
I'm already knowing. Yeah, but yeah, she didn't do it. Dang.
Right?
Yeah.
What was the experience? Okay, because I was a fan of Hit of the Class. So when I saw Brian down there, I was just like, ooh, I was standing. Yeah. But I had to like, keep my composure. When you saw them in the room, like, what was your thought?
I mean, that whole situation was crazy because I was in high school at that point, and because y'all are a little younger, so yeah,
right.
Yeah,
you are a couple years older.
Yeah, so because I was in high school, I had finals that day, and I was just thinking about finals, really, and in the audition, but at the same time, finals. You know what I mean? So, we got there late, me and my pops, and I remember I got in there, man. And I saw Brian and everybody. I was like, oh, that dude with the long hair with the leather jacket. Yes. Over here in the class. And so it was cool. I think Mike Tolan was in there.
Yes.
And I did all the characters in there. Like I did Ed, I did everybody up in there in the room. You know what I mean?
So you brought Ed to the show?
Yeah, I did the voice.
What?
He wasn't Ed yet, but I did the voice. I did Coach Cretin in there because that was based on a coach that I had in Chicago.
I never knew you brought that.
Yeah, they were like, what you got? What you got, voices? What you got? And I did a whole bunch of just like people in Chicago, my uncles and teachers, and just went in on there.
So you birthed Coach Cree, and that is crazy.
Man. Coach Cree is a mean coach, you know what I mean? But and I did all that, and then it was like a month went by, like you said, and I remember then my mom, I was praying, going to bed that night, and then it was a call on the phone, and my mom was like, "Oh, thank you, Jesus." Hey. I was like, "What's she talking about?" And then she was like, "Yeah, you got a call back. You know, we're gonna go to LA." And I was like, "Wow, that's what's up, man. That's what's up." But before that, I was a theater kid. You know what I mean? And I had modeled for Captain Crunch. I did that.
Really? Oh, that's dope.
Before that was dope. I was on the back of a Crunchberry box.
Right. So I'm not even on a cereal box.
So that was dope for me. You know what I mean? But then to take it up a notch with all that was crazy.
When did you create the rap crew? Because you had Aftermath. Was that before or after? You know I was gonna bring it up.
Shout out to the homies. Yeah. Shout out Fred the White, man. My boys from the shop, man. Yeah, man. We just got together recently, which was cool. We took some pictures and everything. Oh, you saw that? Yeah, that's the homies. I mean, they were my boys in Chicago. You know what I mean? And you know, I was to the whole breakdancing and hip hop movement and you know, graffiti artists and all that stuff. Breakdancing. So that was my boys, and so we were already rapping before that.
Oh, okay.
So we were known in Chicago, rapping and stuff like that. We did like this like independent movie that we filmed ourselves, which is somewhere in the Chi. It's probably some girl got it on video. But I mean, that thing went everywhere. It was like a Friday type of movie. Wow. This is before all that and all that stuff like that. But yeah, that's my boys, man. So you know, when we did all that, I had to get them on there. You know what I mean?
They were on the show.
Yeah, had to get them on there, and we performed, and that was big. We had the Black Hawk jerseys, represent Chicago.
Right.
Yeah.
That was super dope.
Yeah.
When you got the call, because it's crazy, I really don't even remember the call of when I was booked. I just remember flying out. Yeah. Which was the day of the earthquakes. We had the major earthquakes in Northridge. The day that the time that the earthquake happened was exactly the time that we had the alarm clock set to get up and go to the airport and fly. So that was my alarm clock, was the earthquake.
Damn. So, that's deep.
Right. So when you had the call that you booked it, what went through everybody's mind?
Man, it was wild. It was crazy. I mean, for me, it was like, it was a big moment. It was a big moment. We were super excited, but it moved so fast. Yeah. It was like, got that call, and then it was like, after the callbacks, then it was like, man, we going to Florida. Right. You know, figure this out. It was more of like, because my mom had just had my baby sister, Kyra. Right. So then it was like, okay, let's plan that. Let's get out there. You know what I mean? Let's keep it going. I was just hyped. Right. I was like, man, I got to represent Chicago. Let's get it. You know what I mean?
And you know what's crazy?
Let's get it.
It's funny that you just mentioned Kyra. And this whole time, in my mind, every time I look at Wisdom, I was like, she really reminds me of somebody. At the end, she reminds me of Kyra when she was a baby. Yeah, they resemble. Right. I mean, she has you in Asia too, but I was like, she specifically reminds me of Kyra back then when we were carrying her around. Yeah, because Kyra was literally a baby. She was only a few months. Literally. And I mean, she grew up on set, TLC running around with her. And, you know, and when Amanda came, they was hanging out because she was like the youngest one. So, I mean, that's crazy. Yeah. What are your fondest memories of being on all that? Man, I've definitely a musical guest. I mean, you know. Yeah. I mean, the musical guests were like popping. I mean, and then for us to like be fans of them. Yes. And then they come and remember we used to get their autograph and chill with them, but then they like stop and just talk to us. You know what I mean? And come hang out. Yeah. So I mean, that was awesome for me. You know, to be like, you know, growing up in Chicago, listening to these people, and then now they're fans of us and we hanging out, and it was cool because it was like a lot of them were close to our age almost. You know what I mean? Like, you know, with Immature coming on, there was kids, Aaliyah, Usher's. That was like Usher's first like single that he did on there. You know what I mean? With Brandy. Yeah, with Brandy too. Yeah. So I mean, it was just awesome, man. It was awesome. Yeah. I remember those memories, just even kicking it with them, and then it's like some of us had crushes on some of them, so it was just like, oh my God, they're really there. Yeah, and man, they get to kick it with them all day. Right. And I used to be so jealous of y'all because you know I always had to be in the room with my mom, but you guys were able to just like hang out and kick it. And I'll be like, but Mom, they're going to the park. But Mom, they're going to such and such. They're going to the room. And she's like, I don't care. And I'm like, Universal. Right. Universal was it.
Man.
I remember it was, I think Ray J was there, and I remember he was like, okay, yeah, after everybody's going to come and hang at the room. And I'm like... But it was so much fun. Like, and I always looked forward to like the next days, just hearing you guys' stories. I'm like, yeah, I'm living through you guys. I'm like, just wait till I turn 18. Yeah, boy,
it's on. I'm seeing all y'all.
Right. Now I know we had the musical guests, but what about some of the actors that came through? Like, what were some of your favorite ones? Because, we had Sinbad.
I mean, to have Sinbad, watching Different World all the time, you know what I mean? And growing up seeing that show and have Sinbad, ain't being so funny. You know what I mean? Sinbad was awesome. Who else was on there? We had Chris Farley come on.
Right.
Tommy Davis. Everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Even the twins.
Yes. Tia and Tamara. When Tia and Tamara came through. And that was cool because then we had the Kenan and Kel show.
Right.
And Kim Bass created both of those shows. So that was awesome.
I didn't even realize Kim Bass. What?
Yeah.
See, I'm learning something.
Yeah, okay, looking at them credits. It was a brother. It was Kim Bass, man.
Wow, that's right. I completely forgot about that. Speaking of the Kenan and Kel show, when you got approached, you and Kenan got approached for this concept, like, hey, so we want to do a spinoff from all that and just focus on you two guys. Yeah. What was the feeling?
Man, that was another one because it was kind of like I remember they taking us to one of our dressing rooms, and then our parents were in there,
of course,
and then they were like, okay, all the other kids are gonna go on hiatus. And while they're on hiatus, and we understood that by then. We're like, okay, hiatus, go back home and stuff and take a break. And so they were like, no, but you guys are going to stay here and shoot your own show. And I was just like, wow, word. And so we were like, cool. And it was crazy because then we were doing like all that in Kenan and Kel, like at the same time. Like, and it was cool because like all that came on and then we were like the special. Right. For the first time for everybody to see it. And that was a cool moment because it was a different feel.
Right.
Because it was like a sitcom feel and like, like a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air type. And then we had this, sketch comedy show too as well. So that was just a big moment. And then now looking back as far as like, the culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? Two African-American boys, leads of the show. You know what I'm saying? Two shows on Nickelodeon, right? And funny. You know what I mean? It was just big. It was groundbreaking, man. And it's awesome to see actors now that come up to me and be like, man, yo, because of that, you know what I mean? I got into business and I did this. You know what I mean? So it's just awesome. It's unbelievable,
I remember when they were doing the auditions for it because Vanessa Baden, she used to always be in my dressing room. She was like my little sister. So I remember we would go up, I think it was the third floor where everything would be at. And I remember she was in the elevator with me one time, and I remember she wanted to audition for the show. And I was just like, well, I know they're doing auditions this week or whatever, something. And as we get into the elevator, everybody was in there, all the writers and producers and everything. And I looked at her and I looked at them. I was like, so this is Vanessa Baden, Gullah Gullah Island. Wow. And that was like the whole introduction. And I'm kind of like looking at them like, yeah, she should audition. Yeah. Not knowing that she ended up actually being casted on it. But I think that actually was the initiation because what are the odds of you wanting to audition? You're on the elevator with everybody that can make it happen. Yeah, look, that's God right there. You know what I'm saying? God downloaded that into you to say, hey, check her out, and then bam. Boom, and there it goes. That's awesome, man. I thought that was great. Now, I know Vanessa owe you a check. Yeah, Vanessa, I'm just joking. Do, but I understand. What's up, Vanessa? How you doing? That's the homie, man. Matter of fact, her show, Giants, just got, I believe, picked up for on a network or something, right? I'm so proud of her. I mean, like that show is crazy dope. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's really dope. She gets to do her drama in it. Finally. You know what I mean? So that's awesome, man. Because she's another one that had a drought, too. Like, we all had droughts, man. Which, that's just Hollywood for you. Real talk. Right? Keep pushing. So keep talking about keep pushing. Yeah. It went from Kenan and Kel. Then you had the motion picture deal, which was Good Burger.
Oh, yes.
So as it's rolling and rolling, what is everything that's like happening now? Like, I know you're like, okay, I got 2 shows.
Yeah.
Now I got this motion picture. Because I know Kenan, he already was doing movies. He had, like I said, Mighty Ducks, so it was probably nothing.
Mighty Ducks, Heavyweights, yeah.
But this was your first movie, right?
Yeah, I
mean, mine's the one that's floating around Chicago.
Some other ones floating around Chicago. 2 other movies before that. But yeah, man, Good Burger, man. I mean, it was just an awesome film, man. It was fun. And to be the lead and just to do that with Kenan, I was like, man, you know what I mean? It's like, I remember when it got real was when it was we were driving down Sunset and out here, and we saw it was like on a big, we were like that surf, you know, the poster.
I know.
So they had a cutout of us, like life size, the same size of the building, and it was just surfing on the pickles.
Right.
Over Sunset, over the street, and it was just like, yo.
We made it.
Yo, that's big, man.
Mama, we made it.
Yeah. You know, that was a big moment, too, because our moms were, like, in the car and stuff like that. So
that's awesome.
That was a big moment. And for Nickelodeon, because you got to remember, like, you know, they were young too, you know, like Brian and Dan, and I had met up with Brian recently and we were talking about that, like, you know, everybody, we all just didn't know, like, how big this thing was going to be. You know what I mean?
I was shocked.
Like, to this day, like, people still are like, man, all that. You know what I mean?
Seriously.
Which is it's a blessing, man. It really is a blessing that people still enjoy it and have so many, like, great memories about it. You know what I mean?
It's all positive memories about it. They remember they remember certain things. Even when they see me, they're like, yo, you were a part of my childhood. Like, I didn't even realize how many people's lives that we touched.
Man.
You know, and it was crazy. Like, all of us were, even going into adulthood, you know, we're dealing with our lives, trying to work or whatever. And it's like people are actually being touched, and we weren't even realizing because, see, we were in the non-social media era.
Exactly.
Right. You know, and matter of fact, let me pause. Okay, so with the way social media is right now, do you think that all that would have been like on a whole nother level if social media was around while we were on there?
No, well, hold on now. If social media would have been, we would have been in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, we would have been. Lord Jesus. See, he said it.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, because I mean, like,
because I said it too. I was like, Lord, we would have.
Yeah, you would have seen different sides.
I mean, all kinds of stuff.
And you know, because shout out to the kids now that have to deal with that. You know what I mean? Because it's like they would see the stuff behind the scenes. You know what I mean? It wasn't just our characters. So
but I think
it would have got real.
Our star meter would have been a little bit higher though. We would have been verified. You're verified. I'm not.
Man, it's funny, like because kids now, like at Nickelodeon, because I was doing Game Shakers,
right?
And you see like kids, they'll like. It's about the followers. Like, you know how it was with us. We would click up sometimes, different clicks and stuff like that with the cast. But then it was like about the followers. Oh, they got more followers than me, and I don't like that person, and blah, blah. Like, that's like the fights and everything like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man. So it's pretty crazy with the whole social media. But, I mean, it would have been interesting to see
how we would have
been,
if they were saying everything that they're saying now.
Yeah. Oh, man. That would have been wild.
Yeah, because I think we were arguing over fan letters. Who had the most fan mail?
Fan letters.
You know? That's when people used to write the letters and request the pictures. I mean, I had people showing me pictures I never signed. I was like, oh, I'm glad I sent that to you.
I remember that. I remember us going to the office to like see the like when the website first started. That was back like when
AOL.
AOL. And then you see the fans talking. Oh man, that used to be so funny, man.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, man, we were blessed for that to be around.
Real talk. Yeah.
So back to your projects now. How soon did Mystery Men come after Good Burger?
Oh, wow. Because a few years later, because I remember Good Burger was 97. And so Mystery Man came out like 99, 2000. Yeah. Yeah, man. So Mystery Man was dope, man. I loved it. You know what I mean? That was, you talking about Ben Stiller, Janine Garofalo, Hank Azaria, all these amazing, like, comedians and Paul Rubens and you know what I mean? Yeah. So, and that was another one. That was another one where it was like to be in a cast like that. You know what I mean? With all these like superhero comedians that I looked up to and watched all my, you know what I'm saying? It was awesome. It was awesome. And them all battling it out. I was just like a sponge, like learning everything. You know what I mean? And learning everything on set. So it was awesome. And then to play a superhero.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, y'all got to put me in there, you know, with the Black Panther and Meteor Man.
Right. No,
we gonna shout out Robert Townsend because you know what I'm saying. Meteor Man. I mean, come on. He from the crib. He from Chicago. Shout out to Robert Townsend, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So and Shaq.
Shaq. Oh, we cannot forget Shaq.
Well, was he still? He was still. Shout out to Shaq. Yeah, man. Shaq used to be on set a lot in Florida. Hanging out with us and all that. Yeah,
because his kids used to come through too.
Yeah. His sister and brother.
He was so tall, be looking all the way out like this. Like I was like, that man is tall.
Yeah.
Even his wife. It's so crazy to see now that she has like this huge enterprise now.
No, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I was just like, wow. It's just see where everybody started and then to see where everybody is now. Like, I think that's like super dope. Big. And with Mystery Man, that was like your first major outside of Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah.
That was like super cool.
That was a good moment. That was just like, okay, cool, all right. And but yeah, and I was still on Nickelodeon because I was doing.
Yeah, you were still on.
But it was ending. So that was like, I think that was like
the transition.
I think that was like our last season when Mystery Man came out. Yeah, it was.
Were you still on all that?
No, because I was when I was shooting it. When I was shooting Mystery Man, because Mystery Man was like a 6-month shoot. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. Because it had a lot of CGI, but CGI was kind of new back then, so it was like it took a little longer. So
trying to figure it out.
Yeah, so that was I was shooting that, and I did it like half the season, and I remember everybody was like, "Did Kel leave all that? What's going on?" And then that's when Nick came in too. Nick was doing some stuff on there, and so it was awesome, man. Like it was crazy. Yeah.
It's so funny how everyone's lives intertwined because it's funny you said Nick. So I remember because me and Alexis Fields were like really good buddies back then. Yeah. And we're still cool now, but we were like really close. All of us were because we were all like young Hollywood. And little Rat Pack. And I was in San Diego doing this concert tour that we used to do with Willie G. And Alexis, what's up, Willie? Whoa. And Alexis came through, and Alexis was dating Nick.
Okay.
And Nick was a fan of the show. And I remember he came in and he was, but I think at that particular time, I think my contract was over. So no one really knew. So when he came in, he was just like, you're from all that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I remember him asking me because he hadn't auditioned yet because he was telling me that he was doing stand up. And I remember him asking me, he was just like, he was kind of nervous about it, but he wanted, what was my take on it? Should he audition? And I remember telling him, I was like, yo, you really should, because I said, as far as black males, I said they love black males because Hollywood was on that.
Yeah.
And Kenan and Kel show, Good Burger. And it was other shows that were, I think it was like My Brother and Me, right?
They were before us, actually.
Yeah, My Brother and Me was before. But I was just like, right now, Hollywood loves black males. I was like, yo, you should definitely do it. Then fast forward, I think I came to you guys' rap party out here.
Okay.
And I see Nick. I was like, yo.
Yeah. You did
that. You listened. Okay. And then look at him now.
Man, I'm so proud of Nick, man. Shout out to Nick, man.
Man, what's up?
Yeah, we just, when we did the Wildin' Out, that was hot. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, Nick, man, it's like to see him grow because he was he started off doing warm-up.
He was doing the warm-up.
Yeah, and doing stand-up and warm-up on the Kenan and Kel show. And then from there, it just took off and did all that. So blessings to that brother, man. It's good to see him, man, growing up. Because, I look at him like a little brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's just awesome. Yeah.
Right. That's crazy because, everyone is, one step away from what their future could be. And just imagine if he didn't, you know what I mean?
It's crazy.
Go audition. Imagine if your parents didn't try to keep you off the streets.
It's crazy how that happens,
You'd be a thug. You probably got tattoos all over your face right now rapping and stuff. With the chains talking about drip.
Drip.
Yeah, drip. But after Mystery Man, it kind of seemed like I don't know, maybe because I wasn't really watching TV. I barely watched it when I was on it because I didn't have cable. So,
right.
So I don't know. It seemed like your career like slowed down a little bit. I don't know if it did.
Yeah.
Did it actually, or were you doing other stuff?
Yeah, well, okay, so then like Mystery Man, then Rocky and Bullwinkle.
That's right.
We did that with De Niro and Kenan was in that as well. And then after that, I started getting into the animation.
Right.
So I did Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Right.
So I'm I'm little T-Bone, the little yellow dog.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. Clifford the Big Red Dog. And I freak people out with that because people be like, yo, I do the voice.
Yes. I was in my room.
Okay.
I had put PBS on so the kids could leave me alone and I could finish cleaning up. And I'm just like in my room cleaning up and my back is turned to the screen and I'm like, why do I hear Kel?
Yeah.
And I turn and I'm staring at the screen because I think T-Bone, right?
Yeah.
T-Bone is like, stop talking. And it's like, Clifford. And I'm like, what's going on? And then you come back and I said, that's got to be Kel. I know it's Kel. And I literally stopped and watched the rest of that episode just so I could see the credits go. I was like, I know his voice. You can't tell me nothing. I was like, that's dope. So what else did you do?
Yeah, I was doing Clifford, man, the animation. And then what else I was doing? I was just doing a whole bunch of stuff. Like different.
You were doing commercials
different
too,
random
weren't
stuff.
you?
Yeah, I did around that time I did the Pepsi commercial. That was with
because I heard your voice.
With Monique.
I thought I was tweaking.
Yeah, I was with Monique, with Spike Lee directed that joint.
I remember
and,
that.
That was that was around the same time. And I remember that was one with the Janet Jackson one. Yeah. That was that Super Bowl. So everybody forgot about my little commercial that had aired at the party because what happened with Janet and Johnson.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Malfunction. Just a little bit.
Little malfunction. Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, I mean, like, definitely in this business, man, I mean, you have to know that it's a ride. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a ride and you gotta love it. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is that you gotta know your purpose. You know what I mean? In life. Like bump the business. You know what I'm saying? It's like what do you do? What is your purpose? Why are you doing this? Who are you going to reach? And I think that when you get into this business at a young age, these are things that we have to find out. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of us bump our heads sometimes because of the fact that we are adulting at this point too.
Yes.
At a very rapid time, earlier than most kids. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot we need to deal with as far as like, who do you trust? Do these people really like me for me? Or is it because I'm on television? The type of people that come into your life relationship wise. You know what I mean? And dating, you might end up with the wrong person, this type of thing. So I think that I went through a lot. Like, when you mention these movies and these shows for the fans, it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? But I remember everything I was going through during those times. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, like when it was, when Good Burger and the movies, it was a big moment. But then at the same time, my best friend was murdered in Chicago around that time. So it was like, it was these things that I was dealing with.
Right.
And I think like, mentally, the things that you kind of go through, like you got to let, like they're like, okay, yeah, cool, but you got to get on stage.
Right.
Go finish what you were doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Go do what you're doing. It's like, mourn for a second, get back on stage.
Right.
And so it's like that whole Tears of a Clown type of thing, where it's like, things are going on, but then you still got to go do what you have to do.
The show still goes on.
But as a kid, and as a young teen, that can be a lot, at that time. You know what I mean? And so it's a lot of distractions. And you see it with a lot of celebrity kids even now. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm always like, I want to be, and that's what I am doing as like an advocate in telling, every time I work on set or anything like that, I kind of tell my stories to these kids because we didn't have that.
Nope.
We were coming up.
Yeah.
Like
we were winging it.
We're winging it. You know what I mean? And you do, because it's like, I feel like in the NBA and the NFL, they get a lot of advice, from the older players and things like that, and different advice. But when you're in the acting game as a kid, you don't really get that much advice.
Right.
Unless if you had a parent that was in the business, something like that, which mine weren't. So it's like,
Mine either.
Yeah, right. So you get different,
everybody
advice,
winging
yeah. But thank God, my parents knew the Lord, because that helped me. You know what I mean?
Jesus always helps.
Yeah, it always helps. Even when I was, bumping my head and backsliding and doing all kind of crazy stuff.
Right.
That was still in me.
The
you know what I mean?
focus.
It got me through. You know what I mean? Yeah.
With because during these different movies that you were doing, you were super adulting, because you were married.
Bruh.
And had 2 kids.
I don't think people understand that. Like, when I was doing Mystery Man, I was in married. You know what I mean? So people didn't know, and it was like, and it at a young, very young age, and that's what I mean. You know, like making
you dealing with real life,
making decisions, dealing with real life, and so like even just being on all that was just, I was in a different mindset.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it was just more like, I gotta take care of this kid, I gotta take care of this house, I gotta do what I gotta do. So it's like, I think some of the cast members might have looked at me like, man, Kel, it wasn't like I was just driven in a different type of way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the rest of them hadn't dealt with that. So they didn't
partying.
So they didn't really understand, but then at the same time I was partying as well too, and wilding out, and you know what I mean?
Wilding out before it was wilding out.
Wilding out before it was wilding out. That's how I, had a kid. You know what I mean? But at the same time I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do the right thing. Get married, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And ultimately that relationship didn't work out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and that was a whole big thing.
So you had to deal with divorce on top of that.
Yeah.
and that people don't at a young age.
Very at a young age. Young age.
Like, cause I remember I was like, hey, Mary, I was like, he got kids? Okay. Ooh. Like, I couldn't even imagine. Like, I don't know what I was doing. It wasn't that. Like, I was just out living life. I think I was trying to figure out, okay, are we all going to the club on Friday? Like, that's what my mind was,
Yeah.
And but I mean, I still give it up to you, because you still did it.
Yeah.
And especially in this industry, this is before social media was really popping, and it is what it is, ruining relationships and all kinds of stuff. You were actually still staying focused and doing what you had to do, because I mean, you could have, like you said, because you went ahead, you wanted to do the right thing, you wanted to get married. A lot of people aren't living like that, and it has to do with knowing God too.
Yeah, I mean, but if around that time though, around that time for me, I think that it needed to be, a different conversation. You know what I mean? As far as like, I felt I was doing the right thing, but then at the same time, I mean, it was good. I mean, I got 2 beautiful children out of it, but at the same time, it was just like, it was moving too fast. It was out of God's timing for me. I was trying to do things on my own because I was going, I can handle this. You know what I mean?
I'm an adult.
Yeah, I'm an adult. I can handle this. I can handle that. And I think that even outside of celebrity, that happens with a lot of people.
Everybody.
Or like, you're stepping in with the wrong crowd. You're stepping in the wrong places. The vices that get you into temptation and tempted in certain things that move you in a different direction.
Yeah.
And these are things that we have to learn. And I look at it as, it made me the man that I am today. You know what I mean? So, even though I had some bumps and bruises along the way, it just made me a better man and a better person. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
With everything that was going on with the divorce and all that, what ended up, because I remember that you mentioned this, because you had an issue, a magazine that you were in, that they did a write-up on you. You had, I don't know how many pages it was. I don't remember which magazine it was. I was like, look at Kel, all up in the magazine and everything.
I think it was People. I shot about. That was People. Yeah.
I didn't want to say the wrong one. I was like, he's going to tell me who it is.
That's all good.
But People magazine, because I knew it was major, and I was just like, what? And that goes back to, look at where we came from. Like, would you have ever thought that you would have been in People magazine?
Man, and the deep thing about that was that in People, they were talking about my faith. And that was important to me. You know what I mean? Because I've been through a lot in this industry. Being in this business, I went through a lot just in general, And I don't, and it's funny because, people talk about Good Burger, Kenan and Kel, all that stuff, but it was like, we went through some real life things, and we've talked, and I know you went through some real life things too. And that's what people gotta understand. At the end of the day, we're all people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we all go through certain things.
Yes, we do.
And for me, my love for Christ is what really got me through it when I started to understand that I knew God, but then when I started having a relationship with Christ and making him the head of my life and everything I do, that's when everything started to change around, and for the better. You know what I mean? Where it was like that Job situation where I got everything back. You know what I mean? I got a beautiful wife. I got, more kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's just this awesome situation, and seeing it through different eyes.
Right.
When you see it through the eyes of desperation, what am I going to do? This is crazy. I don't understand this.
Right.
You can get in a lot of trouble. But when you see it through like, okay, I'm fasting, I'm praying, I have affirmations every morning that I speak positive words over myself, and I cover my family in a hedge of protection in prayer and things like that. It's different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like my motives now when I'm on set and when I work and I go somewhere, it's who can I talk to about the love of God, or who can I meet? Like, why am I here? I'm here for a reason.
Right.
Just like you were saying, like, you were there for a reason. Like with all that and things that happened, like, you were there. Like if you weren't there, then who knows if Vanessa would have met them in the elevator or, talking to Nick and then all these different things. Like it's dope how we're all connected. We're all part of the family. You know what I mean? The kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we shouldn't judge anybody, point fingers at anybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when you go through certain things, I had to learn all this stuff. It wasn't like I just knew this. You know what I mean? Like I was doing that the whole time. Nah, man. It's like you go through jealousy and upset and mad and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All these, especially in this business, because you have so many, there's so much hate.
Yes.
So at times, you know what I mean? But there are loving people. It's just that you will attract that when you have that energy.
Right.
when you give out that energy. Yeah. But back to people, because I know I went all over the place. But back with people though, that was just, it was awesome, and it talked about different times. It talked about when I went through suicidal thoughts and suicide. And I think that we need to talk about mental health and these things and substance abuse and all of that. You know what I mean? Because so many people that are, you would be surprised. Like I talk to youth groups and juvenile homes and all this different stuff.
Right.
And it's some kids that I talk to where it's like they never even been told that someone loves them.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it's things like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, that's what touched me. I look at me being on TV was the doorway to people coming up to me saying I'm a fan, but then when they say they're a fan and they meet me, then it's like they find the love of God.
Amen.
Because the love of Christ, because that's what I'm going to talk to you about.
Right.
If you around me long enough, 9 times out of 10, after about 10, 15 minutes, we're going to be talking about Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's about for me. You know what I mean? And I love the fact that people just got it. You know what I mean? They was like, they was talking and they got it. And it's funny, like, that people always talk about the business, like, it's evil, it's this, that, But there's a lot of believers that are in the business as well. You know what I mean? And God will put you around the right people.
Yeah.
It's all about your team. Yeah, it's about you gotta listen in the things that you're saying. What you're saying is the reason why you're where you're at. Certain people.
You're manifesting it.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So you have to talk the right words about yourself. The tongue is like some tongue is some power. I used to be. I was wild back in the day. Like I was loud. You know what I'm saying? My tongue got me in a lot of trouble because I talked a lot of crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I was revengeful. I had that Chi-Town Southside in me, I was like, oh, they gonna do me like that, I'm gonna do them back.
Right, and I'm inner city too, so you already know.
I think out of all of us, because when I heard your story, I was like, I think out of all of us, we were probably like close as far as like the environment that we grew up in. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't even realize it.
Didn't even realize it. That's what I'm saying. Like when you were in Florida and you were in that set, on that set, like I didn't know all those things were going. I didn't know. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Don't know.
And I think that's what we need more. Conversations like that, even with kids, like on set. Like I was even saying that like recently. I was like, we need to have these conversations with the actors on set to see, like, make sure everybody's mentally ready for this, because it's like when it comes at you fast
and real fast.
Yeah, and and the actors, these young actors, they need to understand like I'm not my character.
Yeah.
You know
some can't separate that.
This is a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it took me time to understand that too. Like, this is a job. Oh, these people aren't like family. Like, you think that, because everybody's like, oh, I'm your big bro. I'm this and other. And then it's like, oh, well,
it's over.
Don't let you get off the show or something get canceled or something like that. And then it's like, they don't know you. And it's like, oh, but you was my bro.
I experienced that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because like even when you were going, it was like, I didn't no explanation. It was just like, y'all go back to work.
Right.
And it was like, yo, what?
What happened?
Okay. And that's when we kind of got like a piece of it because it was like they started moving people around and it was like, okay.
Like she for real gone. She ain't on a break like how you guys would sit on a break and you guys had the Kenan and Kel show. It's like, maybe she on a break.
But I totally get it, man. But it's like I always root because when I see what you're doing, I'm like, yeah, come on, man.
She got this.
I got love for everybody because I understand it. You know what I'm saying? It's so many actors that want to be in our position, like doing a radio show, doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? All these things, and it's just like it's a blessing to continue doing what you love.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you got to keep pressing through. You know what I mean? I remember it was a downtime. I tried to go get a regular job, and I remember they was like, "Nah, you can't because you gonna cause too much commotion because the people gonna know it's you."
At least they told you that. Yeah, they hired me.
Oh, word.
And I got mobbed at my job.
Hey, but that's what's up. But you had a job. I left out of that situation without a job, so I was sitting there jobless. And so I was just like, dang, what am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like you gotta just. I mean, I always say it's God because it ain't me. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely me. Like it's because I could say, oh, I did. Nah, man.
Right.
It's all God. And I think that's the key. You know what I'm saying? That is the key. Like he's the reason why, these things happen, these blessings happen in your life when you're going through. When I see people persevering, like they don't hear all the stories. You know what I mean? Like what we really had to go through. Like even like recently, like TMZ posted me, and then you see people under the comments like, he should be talking about the sequel, Good Burger. It is that. It's like, bruh, you don't even really know me like that.
You don't, bruh.
It's okay, but
trying to bring that Chicago back.
Yeah, but no, not in a fighting way. Right. But I'm saying they don't even know like the journey.
You're right.
And the things that we go through on a daily basis. It's like and it's funny, in media, because they gotta have the clickables.
Yes.
They had to have the clickable name, on top. So I get it. I understand. It's like, but it's not like I'm running around chasing people down and say, hey, Good Burgers. No.
Check it out.
No.
Preaching the word of Good Burger.
I'm talking about, you know what I mean? College is where my daughter's going to go, and high school, and, this stuff. Take care of my baby girl, being a husband, a father. Like, come on, man.
Real life.
Yeah, real life.
After.
Real talk.
Because when you actually did the people interview, I didn't know half that stuff because I actually thought I was the only one out of the cast that was going through what I was going through.
See?
And when especially about the suicide attempts, because I was going through that. I had multiple suicide thoughts, and there was like one final one where actually my best friend saved me. I swallowed a whole bottle of pills.
Wow.
And they actually said that I was 2 pills short of actually succeeding.
Man.
Yeah, two pills short of actually succeeding.
Wow.
But I thought I was the only one going through that. And when I read your story, I was like, wow, so it wasn't just me. And you were the reason why I actually decided to start opening up, because I had been holding in everything. Like when everybody be like, oh, because, in the press was just like, oh, she left. Everybody like, why'd you leave? I was conditioned to always say, my contract ran out. And that's just what I would do, and I would just go about life. I was holding in so much, and I was like, if he could actually say that, and to free yourself from it, because it is a burden, a very heavy burden.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to do this because of the industry. I was having jealousy. I was looking at my peers. Like, I was supposed to be there. I was supposed to be doing it, and I had so much hate, and it was literally killing me.
Wow.
And that article touched me in like so many ways, and I was just like, yo, if he could do it, and I thought you was living it up. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, he got his show, he got the movies, he's doing this, he married, he got his kids, he's living life. Wow. You're Kel Mitchell, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like you're iconic. We're all iconic, but I wasn't looking at it like that. I felt like I was like the bottom of the pole or whatever, and everybody had forgotten about me. So when I started opening up, and then people are like, yo, you're like my childhood and this and that, and people were just like really genuine. There were certain supporters, I hate calling them fans, supporters that were actually legitimately supporting me, and it was like people that were trying to kill themselves. That I had people DMing me like, yo, you're the reason why I didn't. Like I had people, there was one person that I think she had been molested by her uncle, didn't tell anybody, but DM'd me.
Same.
And I actually had to guide her through it for like a couple of months. And it was crazy because she kept on feeling like she was being a burden. I was just like, no, but because I understood, I actually guided her. Like she thought she was ugly and everything. And I actually, and this might sound simple, I used to make her actually like video face me on Facebook. And I'd be like, put lip gloss on and just put water and gel in your hair. Do that for a week straight.
Wow.
And she started doing that, and then I started talking about God, and I started working on her, and the next month she started sending me pictures. Look, I did my makeup. And she was like, I feel much better. Now she sends me messages, and she's like, this is what I'm doing. This is what, like, she's completely, for the most part, healed.
Wow.
But me, I'm at home just like not realizing what my purpose was. And you are the reason why I actually completely got back in church, because I had already been like starting going to church, but I wasn't really in it. And with my kids, I wanted them to be able to go to church with me. So I felt like if I'm going to church, I shouldn't have to leave my kids, because I didn't feel like the word was children appropriate. And I remember you posted, and I guess it was just me thinking it through. I manifested it because I kept on saying, I want a church like my old church, West Angeles. Because I grew up in West Angeles. And we had the choir. We had the Bible study and all that. And I guess I manifested it because you and Asia posted the youth choir literally a day after I said that. And I'm just like scrolling on Instagram. And I'm like, what? And I remember I hit you guys up like, yo, where's it at? And Asia was like, yo, come down, such and such, such and such. And it's been a wrap since. We faithfully, for the most every Sunday.
Every Sunday, we up in there.
In the choir and all that. And it's just, I just want to say thank you, because you and Asia have been like big brother and sister and have really helped my family so much. Like, I know you didn't really know that, but like I said, it all started from the People interview. Because like, I just didn't know. And you have that shame where it's just like, because everybody thinks you're doing great. So you don't want to tell people that you're not.
Oh, yeah.
Because like, even when I saw you guys at that store, the store that we were at, I was kind of like, oh shit. Hey, hi, oh, you see me. Okay, I just came in for a second, you know? And then you ended up getting Game Shakers right after that.
Exactly.
Like, okay, so tell us about when you got Game Shakers after all of that, because you went through that drought. Matter of fact, during that drought, they were saying they were spamming on social media saying that you had committed suicide, that you were dead, and all kinds of crazy stuff. Which
was deep, because like, that was like later, you know, when people started saying that, and you know, and it was that was weird, you know, on the internet, but which was crazy.
How did you find out that you were supposed to be dead?
I was in New York. And this was a crazy moment too, because I remember I was dating some girl around that time, and I flew out to New York to go audition for, I think it was the Shrek musical. And I'm just setting up the scene for you. I was just the Shrek musical, and they wasn't paying for it. And I was like, man, I gotta figure this money out to get this plane ticket. So I got a plane ticket, flew out there, got some whack hotel. You know what I was in room. It was small or whatever. You know, you get a bad hotel in New York, it's like it's serious, right? And so and I remember I went up in there. I was trying to be donkey. I was like, oh, why not? But then I remember I was in the lobby, and people started calling me. And it was like, yo, Kel, you dead? What's going on? I'm like, I picked up the phone. I'm obviously alive. But that was a crazy point, because it was like, you know, as you're transitioning and hustling and things like that, and then something like that was to happen. That was crazy. But I looked at it like, you know, they did it to other actors. You know what I mean? So I knew it was like a trolling situation. So, you know, and all press is good press when you look at it.
Right.
in that way. And, it's like different experiences. Like, it was, there's ups and downs in it, and then, because, then I got, before all the games, he was Dance 360. You know what I mean?
And I loved Dance 360 when you went Frasier Star.
Yeah, with me and Frasier Star. That was an awesome show, man. And, Dance 360 was an awesome show. It was like one of the first dance battle shows. You know what I mean? And then we got 2 seasons out of that.
Yeah.
Tiffany Haddish was actually one of the, she was one of the dancers on the show. She actually competed, threw her wig off and everything.
I think I remember that.
It was a classic, yeah,
Me
man.
and her used to do stand-up at Laugh Factory.
Yeah, man. So,
Wow.
It's just the people, like, when you think about it, it's the people that you meet and the different, like, things. And so, and I remember, like I really, like, Game Shakers wasn't for me. It wasn't like a, oh, yes, type of thing. Because it was more of like, it was confirmation. Because the things that you're talking about are the things that made me go, yes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thankful for the shows too, but I am very thankful for, like, being obedient to Christ when I was going through some worst times, or bad times, for him to say, okay, yeah, but I want you to go to minister. I want you to go talk. I want you to go speak. I want you to help someone out while you're going through what you're going through. Word, God.
Right.
That's awesome to me. That's beautiful, because the things that you could change. And then I like, when me and my wife, we saw people doing the jerk movement. We saw kids jerking and dancing, doing the jerk movement and doing the reject, and they had no place to actually, like, compete and be dancers. And so we created the Back House Party in Compton. And so when we did that, we started off with, like, I want to say 15 kids in the beginning of the first show. Then after that, it grew and grew and grew till we had about 500, 600 kids up in this facility, and we were doing it once a month. And we were part of the jerk movement. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was called the Back House Party, and we did it independently by ourselves, and just giving back to the community. And then having these kids even growing up today, like, yo, Kel, remember Compton and this, that.
Right.
Like, that's awesome, man. And those are the things that, where you had to believe, like we were putting on these shows by ourselves, these live shows on our own, and it was part of the hustle, but at the same time it was helping. I think we were born to be givers, and then it was deep, like doing plays at the church. You know what I mean? Being the stage manager at Spirit Food. You know what I mean? And I still do that to this day. You know what I mean? So no matter what I'm doing, and doing the video announcements, like, all these different things were happening, around that time, which is dope. I think that you have to really search within yourself and go, okay, let me give. How can I help somebody? Even though I might be going through something, how can I help somebody? Do you know what I mean? And then when Game Shakers came along, because of the fact that I humble myself, even from the Nickelodeon side, because it was people that, that worked there that I was just like, you know what I mean? And then even to go to do the audition process, because I,
you had an audition.
Yeah, for Sam and Cat and things like that, even before that. And, but it was like, I was in a different place. I was just like, you know what, let me go audition for this, and it's funny, like, the same people that you meet, and then when you have conversations with them and you get a better understanding, because you gotta remember, we was young, so it's like when you get an understanding of what you thought somebody was doing or whatever, and it's like, then you be like, oh, I was in my head, or you find out some people were being wild or shady or whatever, but regardless, it's like, it's that discernment that you get, you know what I mean? And I think it's awesome. And then to be, like, there again was an awesome experience. Like, we did 3 seasons of that show. And to have it be like a whole generation of kids now that grew up watching me, and then their parents watching me as well. It's just awesome. You know what I mean? It's just awesome. Now it's like little kids coming up talking about Double G. They don't know nothing about no Good Burger, but they know Double G. So
you got best of both worlds.
Yeah, it's the best of both worlds, man. And it's just all the family, but it's a lot of that came from praying, and see, and even when Game Shakers ended, it was like, you know what I mean? It was one of those things, but then it was this peace, though, because it was like, oh, well, my God got this, you know what I mean? And I know I'm on the hustle and get to the next thing, you know what I mean? And God always makes a way, always, you know what I mean? Always makes a way, and I think people need to see that. You know what I mean? To see that fight. Like, I look at it as fighters. That's why I love boxers. I love boxing movies, because you got to see that fight. You know what I mean? You got to train for life.
Right.
Not
exactly.
just for the entertainment business. You got to train for life.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing we got to control.
Yeah, it's in mind because it's powerful.
Oh man, especially out here, and then with social media, like you saying, like you know, the phone, put the phone down. Just like I just recently get an app that like blocks social media.
Really?
Yeah, like it's like I said, I need to work for like 2 hours. And the app just blocks it.
Yo, you gotta.
And if you turn your phone over, it does this crazy ring, like no FaceTime. You're not supposed to be looking at your phone.
What?
Bananas. Okay. Then I was like, yep, I need that.
Need that.
You know what I mean? It'll work because you'll get stuck in there. It's like
yeah, you will. You'll be on something else, and it's like, oh, let me go check this. Let me check my app real quick.
Yeah, real talk. You know what I mean? Yeah.
For a minute, I know you and Kenan didn't seem like you guys were working together as social media or whatever, but when you guys finally reunited, especially I think it was, I don't know if it was Kids Choice, and then you guys did a late night show or something, right?
Yeah, we did Fallon. We did Fallon. Yeah.
Yo, that was the first time you guys officially being back together, right?
Yeah, well, see how that happened was what was that? Game Shakers. So I was shooting Game Shakers at the time, and Dan talked to one of the writers over at Fallon because Fallon was doing all those, like he did a Say by the Bell reunion and all those, and were awesome. And he came to me and was like, "Yo, do you think you want to do a Good Burger one?" Because they asked if we want to do it. We talked to Kenan. Kenan's down. I was like, hey, I'm totally down. Let's do it. Right. And so me and Kenan had a conversation anyway because we were talking about like we need to talk. You know what I mean? It's been a while. You know what I mean? Let's just talk. And it was just because of the fact that over time, I feel like I always tell people this. It's like, do you still talk to some of your high school friends?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Some that you still stay in contact with, and then there's some y'all different. You know what I mean? Right. And so we had to learn each other as adults now. You know what I mean? And so we had a real like brother conversation over the phone before we even started that. Because I wanted him to know and to understand that if we don't even do this thing, right? You know what I mean? We just need to talk as brothers anyway, just for us to just keep in touch and talk. And we had like a 45-minute talk. Wow. And in that 45 minutes, I think I had drove from the studio and I was, where was I? It was like the Kmart in Burbank down from the studio we shot Game Shakers at. And I just stopped the car and just talking, and he was in New York. And we talked for 45 minutes about things that, and then that's what I was talking about. Whereas things that in your mind, we discovered that there was people in our lives that were telling us different things about each other. Yes. And we hadn't spoke to one another. See. And that was crazy, man. Wow. And over misunderstandings. And it was just like, we just need to talk. And we hashed it out, and we said we're never going to do that to each other again. Sweet. And, as just brothers, just, as friends. You know what I mean? And that was an awesome moment, and I was like, bump. Whatever, all this other stuff, whatever. This is what it's about. And ever since then, we've been even closer. You know what I mean? I feel. You know what I mean? Because it's like now it's like we talk to each other as fathers, and we talk about our kids, and you know what I mean, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Our wives, they talk and stuff like that. Nice. So it's just
And I'm glad you guys were still around to be able to do that, because you always hear stories where one has gone and passed or something crazy, and they never get to resolve what it is, and then you find out it's like, wait a minute, that's what this was all about? Yeah. So I think that is amazing, because now you guys got all this great content, because then you did Double Dare, right?
You did Double Dare together too.
How fun was that?
That was awesome, man. Double Dare was fun because, we never got to be on Double Dare, even though it was there for years. We wanted to. I mean, we all got to do Guts and all those other shows that was next to. Oh, well, yeah. But Double Dare, man, it was awesome, man. The slime, and we didn't want to leave. It was so much fun, man. We didn't want to leave. Yeah, it was crazy.
Take me through Wild and Out, because I've always kind of wanted to do that, but then I'm just like, wait a minute, I don't know if I'm that quick with it.
Man, I was so ready. I was so ready, man. It was like, because, watching Wild and Out and seeing it, and it was such a great idea. And how they do it, and to Ken to still be doing it, for so long, to like stop it, come back, for a whole new generation. Shout out to Niles and the whole clique over there that work with Nick, and it's just awesome, man. But when I got on there, I was a fan. So I had told them straight up, like, yo, I'm a fan. I'm ready to do this. Let's do it. Kenan had done it before. And I remember when we all got there, we didn't know if Kenan was coming or not.
Right.
And so he had texted me because, every time I was coming to New York now, we had already link up.
Yeah.
And so, but it was funny. This time he was like, oh, yeah, man, I guess I'll see you next time. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I was like, well, yo, I'm about to do Wildin' Out. What should I look forward to? He's like, it's going to be wild. You got to go hard. I was like, all right. And then he come out on stage.
So that was an actual surprise.
That was a real surprise. Everyone was surprised, including Nick. Nick didn't know either. They was calling Kenan the eagle. They was like, the eagle has landed. You know what I mean? And so that's what, nobody knew what the eagle was, but then we found out. And so, but yeah, with Wild Style Battle, I was ready. I was like, let's go.
Right.
Let's go.
Oh, that is dope. I have a funny story about Wildin' Out. So it was whatever season that was that Cat Williams was still on. Okay. So so there was an audition where they were having the dancers, the Wildin' Out girls. Okay. So I had a dare, and someone was like, oh, you should audition for it. And I was just like, But then I was thinking about In Living Color, and I was like, oh, the Fly Girls, I guess I could do that. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't really been working or anything, so I was just like, at this particular point in time, I was like, I just didn't even care. So I go in, right? I don't know why I thought I could go under the radar, but I go in and audition for one of the Wildin' Out girls. They look at my resume, and they're like, you're Angelique from All That. I'm like, yeah. They're like, wait, so you know Nick? I'm like, yeah. Does Nick know you're here? I was like, probably not. And they were like, well, we're going to tell him that you're here. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So I auditioned. They're like, great job, right? So I didn't tell my manager that I was going to be this Wildin' Out dancer audition, whatever, right? So I'm getting in the car. I haven't even pulled out yet. My manager calls me. Hey, Angelique, so are you at a Wildin' Out audition right now? I was like, I just left. He said, well, apparently they want you to come back for a callback, but to be one of the series regulars.
Oh, nice.
Right? Yeah. I was like, wait, what? And so he's like, oh, super geek. So I had like about a week. And I remember I'm just sitting there, but it was so funny because the people that were in there that were at the callback, they're looking at me like, oh, hell, like, let's go ahead and leave because they're like, if you're here, you're going to get it, right? So I'm just like sitting there. I'm freaking out though because I'm just like, oh my God, like this was like the first like real major callback that I had in like God knows when. Yeah. So I go in the room. It's Nick. Every other series regular that was on at that particular point in time. I feel like Cat Williams was in the room. I completely killed it though, but I think that was when he was going through the breakup with Christina. Okay. So, I did every joke like how they did on the show, but it was so funny. I do remember I did that one Christina one. He was kind of like, he kind of laughed a little bit, and he was kind of like, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have did that one. But he said I did a great job, and, everyone laughed, but, it was a good experience. Obviously, I wasn't on the show, but just to be able to do it and have Cat Williams and all of them laughing. And like I said, I hadn't really been auditioning like that, but I thought it was just super funny. Like, I went in as a dare to just like be like, little dancing. It's like, oh, come here so you can be on the show. And I'm like, what?
That's dope, man. Yeah. That's some stories, man.
Right.
The audition story. yeah, man. Yeah.
I want to talk about the shirt.
Oh, the shirt?
Yes, because I'm like, I see it peeping. I know they see it peeping.
Yeah, so, like I said, man, I'm always about, creativity and turning things around. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And making things new. You know what I mean? So, yes, all that, but the reason I'm all that is because all God. You know what I'm saying? So,
I like that.
It's all God. It's a good way to rep, the show, but then also rep who you are, rep the king. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And just like knowing that it's all God, it's a good reminder. You know what I mean?
And it's very popular, so it's a lot of people are gonna want it because of the logo, but it's all God.
It's all God.
So you're getting that word out there.
I love it because people come like, oh, yo, all that. Oh, it's all God. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's dope, bruh. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or if they don't know God, then we start asking some questions, and it's like, oh, that's good.
Right,
okay, let's talk.
Right, let's talk. Because I was gonna order one for the show because I was gonna rock mine too when I went on the site. It was all sold out. Wow. Then I was like, okay, let me go a different color. That was sold out. I was like, well, maybe let me get a different size. That was sold out. I was like, wait a minute.
Amen. Amen.
Amen to that. Like, I was so happy about that because that means the word is getting out there.
Yeah.
And we need more of that positivity. However it gets out there, we need it, especially for our babies and everything.
That's what it's about.
For our babies.
Our babies, the next generation, you know, for the babies.
Exactly.
Shout out to the Mitchell babies.
Shout out to
my
the
3
Mitchell.
babies.
Shout out to hey, Asia.
Hey, my beautiful wife. And that's the thing too, man. I mean, I know, you know, my wife, man, that's when they say, like, you know, a Proverbs 31 late woman, you know, look it up. You know what I mean, fellas? Right. Find you the right woman, because a woman, I mean, I say my wife is like my coach.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, that's when I found, you know, when I finally worked on myself and, you know, worked on, you know, having the love for Christ, he gave me this beautiful woman.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and having my wife, I call her my coach because of the fact that she's a woman, like, she's ready to have the team win.
Right.
So the both of us win together. So it's like, yeah, do it this way. Yeah, you still got this, baby. You could do this, you know. And you know what I mean? And we do that together. It's like, that's my best friend. You know what I mean? It's no nagging. It's no nothing. It's just like, it's my best friend. Let's rock out. You know what I mean? Let's make this happen. And it's so much motivation. Like, I'd be just ready to, like, take on the world. You know what I mean?
You need that.
That's my baby, man.
I love it. And those wedding pictures were the bomb.
Thank you.
I loved them. Because I was getting ready to, like, wrap it up. But how did you guys meet?
Man, okay, so that was around, like, definitely a hustle time again. Like, I was, what was I doing? I was hosting an event. You know, living a single lifestyle. So I was hosting an event at Compton High School.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a talent show. And the Mixon twins were there. You know the Mixon?
Yes.
So I was hosting this event, and Asia was the musical guest. At that time, because she used to rap. Yeah. So she came in she commanded the stage. You know what I mean? She wasn't a high school student. Just in case people thinking that. Right. She was one of the musical guests. Yeah. Right. So she came for the talent show for the kids. Yeah.
She did Christian rap though, right?
No.
Oh, no, she did Christian rap. This whole time I thought she was a Christian rapper.
No. No, she turned to that. Me and her both started going to church, but you know, we was both living a wild life. You know what I mean? Both living a wild life, man. And that's why I say, like, we did everything together. You know what I'm saying? We grew together. And when I met her there, I just saw her energy on stage, like the way she commanded the stage and the rapping and her crew.
Right.
She had a whole squad. It was like Diddy. Like, she had all these people and they had flags and T-shirts and all this stuff, and the hustle was crazy.
Right.
And we stayed in contact as friends.
Yeah.
And we started off as friends, which that was what was dope. And she laced me with gear, and I remember I was on this show called Take the Cake on BET. And she was lacing me with gear, and I was like wearing the stuff on the show. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. And we just stayed in contact. And it was like she would go on dates and I would go on dates, and because we were friends, and come home and talk about it. And I would talk on the phone with her all night. And I remember one night I was just like, you know what? You need to be going out with me. You know what I'm saying?
My girl.
And she was about to go out on a date, but it messed her all up. Like, she was sorry for homeboy. You know, it messed his date all up. She came back after the date, called me, and, you know, we've been rocking ever since, man.
Yo, that is dope.
Yeah, man.
You slid on right up in there. Right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, you got a good one, man. It's like, you know, and I think starting off as friends is what definitely helped us, too.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
because you guys knew each other's ups and downs, and you knew how to deal with each other instead of trying to learn it in a relationship.
Man, and it was a dating process. Like, it was like, you know, that old school love that you hear about, where it's like we really dated. It was a lot of chivalry in it, and a lot of, like, I really had to pursue her, you know what I mean? This is my queen, you know, type of thing. It's just awesome. And then we were celibate too.
What?
Yeah, because around this time while we were dating, then we both found Christ, you know, I found Christ again, you know what I mean? So it was just, man, it was just awesome.
You know, I just had another guest that she is practicing celibacy. Do you think that's really important in a relationship?
Very important.
Oh, I was
no. I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's very important because it helps you love your mate in a totally different way. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, a lot of people are together just for the lust of it all.
Yes.
That's a book. The lust of it all.
The lust
but there's a lot of people are just together for that. You know, and you would be surprised if you take that away from a relationship.
Yeah.
And then they just have to just look at each other and who are you? Who am you? Know what I mean? And it's like, oh,
that's true.
You know what I mean? So it's like finding that real love. You know what I mean? For one another. And it's kind of like the love you have for Christ. This same love I'm gonna show to you. So through the good and bad times, we're just gonna stick together.
Right.
Through that love. You know what I mean? Not because you took the cookie away and you did this or you know, because you're gonna be together for a long time too.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at these relationships as fast, die young, all this stuff. It's like, nah, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Crashing and burning.
You're going to be 80, 90-something years old with this same person. You know what I mean? So this got to be your best friend.
All go. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that celibacy is definitely serious, you know, especially for women, you know. And then we can get real deep, you know, for the men too, women and men, you know, because the soul ties.
Yes, it's transfer of spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
we get that'd be a whole other.
You have that person's spirit and everyone else's spirit, and it's just like.
Yeah, man. But hey, I've been through that. It's just like, you know, I had an evangelist take some stuff off of me. You know what I mean? Because of that whole situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
that was me last year. Remember when I ended up in the hospital?
Yeah.
That was all tied. Like that was some real. Wow. Yeah, them spirits. It's real
talk.
You gotta stop playing out here.
I saw Tiffany Haddish had did a post about that recently. And I was like, oh, she get it. She knows.
She woke.
You know, because that's real woke. That's real woke because it's real talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you got to be careful who you let in you mix with spirits with. You know what I mean? Because a lot of things happen and people get different. And I know I was a wild dude, so it's like it was good to have that demonicness, that craziness out of my life, and then to be clear with that, with a clear conscience, clear mind, clear heart, and then to be with a woman and we just both together waiting. You know what I'm saying? Together, you know what I mean? And it's like, it was like starting over. It's like, and it's beautiful. And then it makes your honeymoon amazing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And people always was like, oh, well, you know, you try it first before, you know. You know, that whole thing. But hey, let me tell you, it's all good.
You know what? And it's
amazing.
It's crazy that you say that because, like, now with all that issue that was going on last year, now that I'm away from it because it was like dimming my light and everything. People don't get that. Like, it will dim your light.
Yeah.
Like, now I can breathe with that person completely. I blocked everything, but now it's like I'm dealing with a new person, and it's just like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah,
haven't did anything at all, so we're like actually building, I guess, on conversation and knowing each other. And I just finished telling a friend, I was just like, oh my God, I was like, the way that we already talk to each other and deal with each other, and that has never came into play.
Yeah,
it's rare. It's a beautiful thing.
It feels good, and it's gonna continue. You know what I mean? It's like when we got married. It's the same. The honeymoon never stopped. This is what I'm saying. Like it always still that feeling.
Yes.
Because we did some. You know, we made a sacrifice for one another. You know what I'm saying? You know, because to had sex in previous relationships and then to say now I'm gonna cut this off. You know what I mean? That's a big sacrifice. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
But that's what it is with faith too.
Yeah.
You know, it's a sacrifice. You can't do the same things you were doing before. So it's like you want to go to a new level. You want to be with a queen.
Yes.
You're going to have to sacrifice some things. You can't be
to work.
Wilding out. Yeah.
You can't wild out. You want it to last. And you're, man, like I said, you're absolutely right. Because I'm like, wow, I'm actually head over heels over a person and I haven't even slept with them.
Right.
Because, you know, normally that all takes a thing. You know, it's just like this. And they actually mutually feel the same way.
Yeah.
You know, so that's rare. So yeah, I was like, it's a beautiful thing. I was like,
okay, well, who this fella? When we gonna meet him? Let me take out my mint. Let's get deep. Now I'm gonna take over the interview. So who's this fella? I should play.
You know how on social media you gotta come out like after you're married and everything. And the kids is like, oh, and I'm married. It's like, wait, there's a ring now.
Well, hey, congratulations. It sounds like it's a good situation. Sound like he's a good dude.
Yeah,
so
we're not official. We're lead. We're just talking.
Okay, good. Take your time.
Yeah, we're taking time right now.
Yeah.
You know, but if he was to say, you know, I'd be like, hey, hold on.
That's awesome. Hey, well, hit us up for the double date. We there.
Oh,
we
yeah,
there.
definitely.
We can all hang out.
Well, you know, tell everybody where they can find you, what projects to look at. Wait, hold on, wait.
Hey,
don't you tell them nothing. You have a new show.
I do.
Yes, you do. And it's coming out next year, next month, and he's going to tell you the date and all that.
Yeah, the weekend of January 5th. Make sure you check it out on that Saturday. It's called Tales of Valor. Tales, as in Tails, Tales, you know, the tail from a dog.
Like a dog.
And so it's about service dogs. And it's an awesome show because it's like the things that they do for their patients. I mean, it was really a tearjerker for me because as I'm hosting the show, so as I'm telling the stories and you hear these stories of these patients that are dealing with these diseases or issues that they're having and what these dogs do for them and how they bring joy to their lives and how smart these dogs are.
Right.
Like it was one dog where the dog wakes her up like every hour to take pills and to take her medicine and to put her IV in because her parents couldn't do it anymore because it was just the waking up and stuff like that. Wow. And she was going to go live on her own, and so her dog had to do it.
Right.
And this dog stays up all night, like just ready, you know, like wake you up, hey, do it. And it's like, you know, amazing stories like that. So
that's dope.
It's a fun show. It's a family show. You know what I mean? And it's cool, man. I'm excited about it. My dog actually saved my life. When I was a kid. Yeah.
Wow.
Me and my sister was playing in Chicago and it was, you know, we was jumping on puddles and stuff like that. Yeah. But I jumped on one and it was actually like a big old pit. You know what I mean? I was like about 7 or 8, you know what I mean? And I went down and I was drowning. Like, you know what I mean? And so my dog, Busy, shout out to Busy, doggy heaven right now. She put her leash over it, and like I went over and went to the leash and she pulled me out. Yeah, pulled me out. And it was funny because I told the producers that on set and they were just like, what? We didn't even know that. Like, you got this job, you didn't even tell us that. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it was awesome, man. But Tales of Valor, make sure you check it out. It's on CBS, so make sure y'all check it out. CBS, yeah.
That's what's up. Well, you got any more projects coming up?
Yeah, CBS. And then also, too, we do have a project greenlit over at Nickelodeon as well, too.
Sweet.
So we have some films coming up. Me and my wife also have a production company together.
Yay.
So a lot of great things coming out. You know what I mean? Right. So I'm super excited, man. You know, just go to I am Kel Mitchell, you know, on my social media. And then, you know, kelmitchell.com. Check me out. We got a lot of surprises this year. Man. A lot of big surprises. And super excited. God is awesome, man. So, you know, all God.
Oh, God. Yeah. You know what was bringing up Nickelodeon? You got to give a shout out to Brian. I thought that was dope for it to do a full circle, and he's president now.
El Presidente.
Yo, like, that is super dope. Like, I remember when we were first there. Like, I know he probably never saw this, but I'm just like, you're president. That's, like, full circle.
Shout out to Brian, man. I talked to him recently about it and congratulated him, man. That's a big thing, man. It's cool, man. But he was just like, wow, this is full circle, man. Full circle, man.
Like, we all used to go up there and talk to the president, and now he's the president.
Yeah, I'm excited he's there, man. They need him over there, so I think this is awesome. I think
it's good for the network.
Oh, it's great for the network. He's gonna do a great job. I mean, Brian, you know, he's got a great mind.
Well,
he
had the production company, Tolan Robinson. Look what he did with that.
Come on, man.
Like, y'all don't even know Smallville and all them shows. Y'all favorite shows.
Brian Robbins.
That was Brian Robbins.
Real
talk.
Come on, man.
I would be in the movie theater and see. I'm like, damn. like it's all over. And
remember the show? Remember the concert, the show?
Yes.
Yeah, with Biggie and everybody.
Y'all didn't even know.
Yeah,
like,
that movie was crazy.
Traces of him have been all over your favorite shows. So it wasn't just all that. It wasn't just Head of the Class. Like, I'm probably saying Head of the Class, and some of y'all like, probably what? Like, just probably a little bit too old for that.
They're like, what was that?
What's Head of the Class? They about to Google it real quick. But yeah, no, I just had to say that. I think that's super dope. Yeah, you know, I could not mention that from there, like the beginning of it.
Start that fam.
You know what I mean? he helped kickstart my career. So,
yeah. We're a university, man. All of us, man. It's great seeing everybody. Like, it's always like a high school reunion.
Yes, it is.
It's crazy seeing everybody, man. Right. doing different things. You know what I mean? It's dope.
Well, I'm glad everybody is like, we still a family. Everybody's still doing their thing. Give everybody your social medias.
Social medias. You sound like that now. You a parent. Social medias. Get them socials. Yeah, at I am Kel Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? Instagram. At I am Kel Mitchell. Look for the blue check. That's me, because I got a lot of people that trying to be me on there.
Right.
So at I am Kel Mitchell. And then kelmitchell.com. You know, go to my website. You can get your All Guys shirt. You know what I mean? Whoa. And check me out. Whoa. You know, Spirit Food Christian Center. That's the church.
Yes.
Come through, get that word, man. We got some surprises happening at Spirit Food too, coming up soon too. So you're gonna hear about that soon too. So yeah, man.
And then go ahead and slide me one of them blue checks too.
Oh, for verified? Y'all verify Angelique now.
For real?
Come on, man.
Like, how am I not verified yet?
Verify Angelique, man. Come on now.
I'm gonna just take a marker and just be like.
I seen somebody do that. They put it in.
I saw
they
that.
put in a picture, in their profile picture.
Yes, they did.
I ain't even mad.
I was like, I'm not even mad
at
it.
Saying?
You know, get it how you get it. But thank you so much for coming through.
Come on now.
And like I said, shout out to Asia for, helping piece everything together and all that. You know what I mean?
That's the one. She made me better.
Yes.
That's my baby.
I love her. That's my big sis right there. You guys already know how to find me. Angelique Bates on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook. I'm verified on everything else but Instagram. We working on that though.
That's right.
But the Evening Showdown, Instagram and YouTube, The Evening Showdown. Every Wednesday, you know where to find us, and you never know who's going to be in the chair. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and it's going to be on and popping next week.
Can I say something, though?
Yes.
This is because you are the original Black culture. Maybe you should put that down there. I'm just saying, she's the Black woman. You was putting it down for all that. I'm just saying, Black young girl cast member. You was the only one Black.
Yes, you're
Black
right.
girl. You talking about Black girl magic? on all that. Come on, man. Yeah, you know what you should do? I'm gonna give you this. You should make a shirt when you was on all that. Just this picture of you and then have it say Black girl magic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
That's dope.
People need to
hear. We about to talk. All right.
Come on, make some shirts, man. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? When we did the Kamikaze reunion, the first one, it was the second one. I remember he looked at me and was like, why didn't you mention that you was one of the first? I said, and then the comic book, because I had the comic book.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, I mean, I just be forgetting all that. I think, because of everything throughout the years, I downplay everything, and I just don't realize how much Black girl magic I got.
It's Black girl magic, man.
But I'm getting better with it. Yeah. That's why I love you, because you've always had my back.
Come on now, man. Let's get it.
But all right, y'all, make sure you tune in and tell your mamas and your cousins and all that.
Cheer. Watch the show.
Peace.